Thank you to GameWorks Create for being a channel partner. Looking for a Kickstarter game you missed or 3D printed minis? GameWorks Create has a huge selection available, all at a fair price. Use the link in the description below to check out all that GameWorks Create has to offer. What's up, Rockstars? Welcome to another news video. Me and Jasper here are ready to give you a whole bunch of info. We got stuff on canceled games. We got new exclusive looks at some stuff. We have a lot to go over. We have board games. We have role-playing games. We have printers. We have miniatures. We have all sorts of stuff. It's crazy. Let's get to it. As always, I'd like to start off by thanking my sponsor for today's video, my patrons. Thank you so much for your financial support, and I'd like to give a special shout out welcome to the people I'm about to butcher their names to, including Sebastian Ambrose or ABBA19XX, Dorintor, John Bruns, and Piotr Jarowski. I apologize for all of that, but thank you so much for coming here anyway, even if I can't get your name right. Seriously, it means a lot to me. Thank you so much. If you'd like to join them and many others, the link is down below. Thank you so much. That other way, let's go ahead and get started. Now, I am organizing this in a I'm trying to do board games and card games, and then some RPG stuff, and then some miniatures, printer stuff at the end, and then just kind of end out in a bang. So stay tuned towards the end for sure, but let's go ahead and start things off with SolForge Fusion hybrid deck game. This is actually created by Richard Garfield, the creator of Magic the Gathering, and Justin Gary, the creator of Ascension deck building game. And actually, this was formerly Gary Games, named after him. Now it's Stoneblade Entertainment. This is actually kind of an interesting card game. One of the reasons I'm covering it, first of all, I love card games, especially Magic the Gathering, grew up enjoying it, is how they do this is they're offering essentially a algorithmically created card game to where no two cards are the exact same. I'm assuming what that means is that it's slightly directed, right? They probably have parameters, and, you know, obviously you can't go from, you know, 0 to N, right? You gotta put a limit on, like, how much health you can have and stuff like that. But very interesting to market it that way. I'd be interested to know what that means when it comes to, you know, just like any kind of RNG. Normally you try to get those god roll RNGs, right? So the ones that are just the best of the best. So that's kind of worrisome. And they also never list a total card count, like as in, like, how many different cards are there? How many different pieces of art are there? Like, what are we looking at there? I didn't really see that. Plus, a lot of the gameplay stuff. They do have the rule book here, though, so you can go ahead and click the link and like actually check out the rule book. Again, all the links to everything is down below. But it looks pretty interesting otherwise. I'd probably go with the 65 if I was going to do it, just because you get the play mats, which are nice, and they're not like paper or whatever, and then you get the dice and everything, and I think it's just kind of the nicer tier. That being said, nothing wrong with this 40 thing. So you get 4 unique decks, 124 cards. It says unique decks. I don't know about unique cards. I don't know, like, how many. Anyway, it gets a little confusing there. So that's kind of my big question, is just what exactly am I getting? Especially when you can buy boosters. Like, how many, like, 640 cards total. Okay, but while I know they're all algorithmically unique, does that mean that I mean, I don't necessarily want 15 copies of the same card, though? How many cards? Anyway, the confusion around that. But otherwise, what it is, you take 2 half decks and form them together, and those 2 half decks make your deck. And so what's interesting about that is it instantly creates kind of like a pre-built deck in a way. So ideally one that works well together. One of the benefits of buying pre-made Magic the Gathering decks, not because they're competitively well, because they typically play well against each other. At least that's what the professor typically tells you when you're buying it. Don't buy it for the cards. Buy it to play it, and he'll rate which ones go good or not. He's a great YouTuber, by the way. But I like the idea of kind of like taking, like, well, let me take these wolves and combine them with the elves, and then bam, now I have a wolf-elf deck. That kind of thing, but the simplicity of adding the two seems kind of cool. And then they also have these kind of leaders that level up And so they go from rank, 2, 3, 4. I'm assuming there's a 1 somewhere there. Anyway, just seemed kind of interesting. So I kind of dig that. And it looks like they really want it to work. So I kind of did that. I like the lanes too. It reminds me of the old, not the old, but the one during the prequels, a Star Wars card game where you had space, heroes, and land, or space pilots land, or whatever. And you essentially had those 3 different areas, and you had to win 2 of those. And I thought that was always kind of interesting, where like you have a good card here, but it's for that lane, essentially. So I like that too. So a lot of neat things at play here for sure. I like a lot of what I see. I think the campaign could be shown better, the campaign page, right? Like I said, how many different cards do you have? How many pieces of art am I looking at? And I think that would have helped it get even more than it already is. That being said, 16 days to go, so plenty of time for them to kind of tackle those kind of questions that somebody like me might have. Okay, moving on, we also have Agemonia, or Agemonia. I think I say Agemonia. I don't know which it is. Either way, it's here as well. 14 days still to go. I actually have a copy of this, thanks to Alex from Board Game Co. So thank you, Alex, for sending that over so I could take a look at it and let you guys know what I think as well. After I take a look at it and after I do my review, I will take a look at his video and we'll see where we align or not. I think that'll be kind of interesting. I always enjoy seeing other people's takes on things after I do mine. I always try to avoid those so I don't like get information put in my head or something like that. Like, oh yeah, that's really dumb. And I go into it like that. I want to go into it kind of fresh typically. But either way, really enjoy the art style of this. Like I really do. I think it's grown on me more and more. It's not the best character art I feel that I've seen, but I like the style of the colors and everything. I think that's really interesting. And the miniature design, while simplistic, is unique, and I really appreciate that too. Like this guy right here, especially, I really like. I think you saw me gravitating towards that. And of course it has the kind of these like stamina tokens that you can use to actually do actions, stuff like that. It looks like a nice little RPG. So I'm excited to dive into it and kind of see what it gives me, and just kind of how much I enjoy it. It looks like something I could probably get to the table pretty quickly, and I really, really like that. And the maps remind me of Conan, which is kind of like, okay, that's cool. It says over 25 scenario maps. I think there's over 30 missions, I think, that they mentioned that we'll have. My cat decided this is boring, but hopefully you're enjoying this video. Either way, 187,000 I think is quite good for first graded, even if it stopped there, but it's just going to go up from there. So congrats on the success there. I think that's awesome. And excited to take a look at it. I'll let you guys know. I have 14 days to let you guys know. So I will let you know as soon as I can. I got a lot in the queue. A ton of reviews are coming up. Trust me, you're going to see some unboxings here soon. And then following that is the accompanying review to many of the things I'm unboxing. Next up, we have Limbo Eternal War 1.5. Broke 200,000 and still on its way. 1,200 backers and going up. 17 days to go. So congrats on the success there. I think that's very, very cool. They have unlocked the solo mode, but we'll know more about it at, I think, 300,000, or maybe it's unlocked at 250. I'll have to double check. Let's actually go and scroll down here. And as you can see, they're still unlocking more and more stuff. Here's this captain guy that they're kind of working towards here. They've actually added quite a few stuff here when it comes to like the imagery and telling you kind of what it is you're getting and all that, which I appreciate the constant improvement there, of course. Because that's definitely, I think, one of the things that's needed the most help in, which is nice to see. So let's see here. That is for 2,000 backers, not necessarily a price thing. So the price thing here says solo campaign, 250k in Australian money. And then it looks like at 300 it starts expanding more. So then there's the 325. So there's kind of the gap here for solo, equipment cards, a rule book, AI cards, all that kind of stuff to kind of go through that. I love it as a skirmish game. I don't know if I'd play it as a co-op. I guess I mean, if it's there, I'll give it a shot. But oh man, the skirmish is really good. I've really enjoyed it. Here you'll see that, first of all, there is another stretch goal here in the Wrath's Chosen as well. You get this skank lady here. And there's all these like 75 millimeters minis are now smaller. I have a problem with Lance, and that's that finger right there. That is insane. That finger is like that big. Okay, even on a 40 millimeter. That's silly. I would love to hear how that works. Because even in ABS, I'm not But I will not let my kids play Lance. I'll be like, okay, you put on gloves, you get some like fuzzy mittens, and then you just scoot the miniature instead of, you don't pick it up, just scoot it across the board. That's how you move Lance. Or, I don't know, do something else. Cool sculpt, looks cool digitally on my computer. When it's a miniature that I'm playing with, that's what I'm curious about. A little finger with a little tip of a dagger balancing on top of it, and how much that pains me once it falls and hits my rugged carpet with 10-pound, cushion, and it still shatters and breaks, and it makes me sad. So kind of curious about that. Here's the Messenger of the Heavens box. As you can see, you can get that for the 2 new minis there. Same with like the dice that weren't included before. I think the angel dice are new, I believe. They added more 75 millimeters as well. So they have all the old ones, that those have stuff like Alicia here and Chrysala here that are new, and a few others. So that's kind of cool to see as well. That being said, I still don't see the demon chick leaning on the sword that I showed way back at the beginning of the year. It's still not here. Why isn't it there? I don't know. Put it there. I think that'd be cool. It was a cool mini. But whatever. Anyway, there's that. And then there's a whole bunch of other stuff that they're looking at. But solo mode seems interesting. So cool about that. Definitely interested there. And again, I think I really, really enjoy 1.0 and excited to see just more unit options and better, like production value outside of the miniatures for the 1.5. So that'll be cool too. Next up, we have Green Hell, the board game, successfully funded this time around, 94,000, just about to break that 100,000 mark. So congrats on funding. There's 5 days to go. So they're going to start ramping up here real quick towards the end, especially in that last 48 hours. So I didn't really, again, get to see kind of what the difference between the new one and the old one is. However, when it comes, they launched and then canceled and then relaunched. But I'm glad that they were able to do that. I think that's great. If nothing else, the first launch can actually help kind of get the word out, get people like me to cover it, right, that I didn't know about before. They have banana cards, so there's that. That's always cool. Banana cards are neat. I really liked the kind of inventory craft system. It looked really neat from what I saw. It reminded me of inventories and like video games that I like, where like a Resident Evil 4 kind of style, where you have to fit them all together because they're different shapes or sizes or whatever. You put all your grenades in the little spots of Diablo 2, right? The remake just came out on that, right? So it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. Next up, we have Transformers Genset Chess 1, 83,000, 300,000 goal. I don't think they're going to make it. They have 10 days left to go. They've been working on it. Like, they added these 3 new tiers where it's really just for $100 you get this 1 mini plus the book, or for $300 you can get one of the factions or the other faction, not the board, plus the book, plus a pin, to kind of have some cheaper entry points. It's just so expensive, which is unfortunate. It looks really neat. I actually kind of dig it. And I think part of the problem might be that it just didn't show like, that's not obviously a whole chess game, right? That's not all the minis you need to play chess. But they never really like showed that. And I think that when you're asking something like $600, like, you really need to, I think, really show this is what you're getting and this is why it's great. And so, it's unfortunate, but, I think they've probably had a lot of lessons learned running this campaign. I wish them the best of luck in the future. And maybe a whole bunch of people are just waiting towards the very end, but they're going to need quite a few, even at that high price point. Moving on for what's coming up, we have Altenor Secrets. Enter the endless and always moving Tower of Altenor. Fight for your guild. Use cards and miniatures for fun and victory. I like both fun and victory. This is kind of interesting. So the circular board is kind of interesting. I guess they kind of turn or whatever, and you're kind of like going through that. You play as like a guild, and you're like fighting through other guilds. It kind of reminds me of like an Arcadia Quest style kind of thing, and it kind of sounds like that. I don't know too much about how it plays, except for that board movement and all that kind of stuff, but it definitely piqued my interest just because of that board. The minis look okay. Design-wise, I think they look very cool. A little cartoony, perhaps, but like concept-wise, I think they look neat. And again, the board certainly unique as well. So interested to see how that plays out. I'm not typically huge on just like a more of a casual kind of competitive, so I'll be interested to see, I guess, how serious this is and kind of look at it from there. Next up, we have Fractal the Void. I have an unboxing of this link down below to that. You can view that. I will have a review of this soon. Subscribe, the little buttons right there with the bell icon to hear my thoughts on that. 3,758 followers. Definitely going to be a big hit unless they just flub it all up. But I guess I'll let you know in my review what I think about that. So excited to see this is coming out real soon as well. So also a link to this. Obviously, you can click the notify me on launch thing and then you can know. Or again, on my channel, I'll let you guys know as well. So you'll find that out that way too. Next up, we have Axon Protocol. I might be showing this off. They sent me an email. I haven't decided yet. I'm wanting to get a bit more into... Well, let me read this first. Axon Protocol is a 1-to-6 players, for 1-to-6 players and features a unique game mechanic called a shared worker control. Every single character in the city has their own routine and skills. Each character can be hacked and controlled by every player, but they will follow their own behavior again the moment no one is hacking them. The rockstar might give a concert in the city plaza until a terrorist blows it up, and the corporate rescue team can only save one of the victims. The game features 6 types of resources: augments, data, drugs, products, scandals, and violence. I love how scandals and violence are a resource. What am I playing? Hate? I love it. Violence as a resource. I'm now more interested. Each corporation profits from 2 of these resources with over 40 unique characters and 6 different corporations, each with their own unique special ability. Every game of Axon Protocol, you will tell its own story. That all sounds quite interesting to me. Let's go and take a look at some images here and we'll kind of take a look. So it's very much, it kind of reminds me of like an older style, like video game cyberpunk thing. Like this is very much, I think, late PS2 style. In my mind, like the style of it looks kind of like that to me. If we can take a look at a board of it, you can kind of see it here. So they got little standees here. Don't know if they're playing on miniatures or not. They have these different zones where I'm guessing the workers are going to be like in one of these cards or something like that is my assumption there. Here's it on TABLETOP. You can see that as well. Again, let me know in the comments below. Seriously, let me know if you want me to take a look at this. Here's some cards, like you counter the target card, counter 1 attack against any target. They talk about like a desktop and stuff like that. Like here's this one. Play only during your turn. Immediately let target character use its routine, even if he or she has already been activated this round. Playing to the target opponent's desktop area. That opponent cannot play software cards. Discard this card at the end of the opponent's next turn. So it sounds kind of interesting. I really kind of dig the idea of... you know, again, a card game against other people, but then the concept of everybody having the exact same pool of workers and being able to, you might hope that they actually do their normal thing, but then another player might choose to have it do something else. So you kind of have to play on that a little bit too. And then it looks like you kind of have some gotchas with the card as well. Draw 2 software cards and discard 1. Kind of typical stuff there. So very interesting to see. And again, the style looks kind of interesting too. Like, oh man, where'd he go? I like this guy. This guy's cool. This chick is crazy. Like she's got like this arm here that's just like really, really crazy cool. So I dig that as well. So anyway, yeah, let me know in the comments below if you want to take a look at that. And I might be able to fit it in my schedule. I guess I will see. Next up, we have Beyond Humanity, Astrominers, Astrominers, I showed you guys this last time. Again, if you are interested at all, it looks kind of like ISS Vanguard-ish, right? There's a $5 discount if you follow early. It costs you nothing to follow early, so go ahead and do it. Literally, again, costs you nothing. Just don't feel obligated to use those $5 that you'll never actually get in cold, hard cash. You cannot buy a McDonald's Happy Meal with this. It will not buy you love. That being said, it looks pretty cool. Let's see, Tom Vassell said it looks cool, and Roll for Crit said it looks cool, and Ice said it looked kind of neat too. I really dig the, like, it looks like it's placing a lot of stuff, right? So you got like these really cool acrylic tokens, you got these dice that you get to play on these little trays that you get to move around and stuff like that, which seems kind of cool too. Like, I like rolling stuff. I like dice assignment, so that's cool as well. And you get to move that around, and you get to scoot your little tray in there and dock in the docking station or whatever. I dig it. So seems interesting from a super high level perspective that I have. From the bird's eye view, looks like a tasty mouse in a field, I guess. Next up, Skyrim. It's coming out eventually. Just if you haven't yet, click the link and join the other 19,508 board gamers that are following this. It'll come out soon. I will get a talk in with Modifius. I promise. You guys will see that. I need to email them back. Send, I think, my ball court to move it because I didn't hear back from them. So I will ping them again about a chat. I'll chat with them and try to find out all those juicy secrets you guys are, I'm sure, curious about, as I am as well. Next up, Goldenstar, the Galactic Tournament's coming out. Again, I covered this in my last video as well. I dig the blues and the purples and stuff like that. The style of it seems very interesting to you. Like, I really dig that weapon. Like, that weapon's super cool. There's, like, the spinny bike chick is neat too. I dig all of that. This reminds me of, like, the digging game with the steam robots. It's like steam, I want to say steampunk dig, but I don't think that was it. But you guys might know what I'm talking about. It's a video game. There's 2 of them, I think. Anyway, looks kind of interesting. It's their second round. They already went through this once and had to cancel it, so hopefully this one is a bit better. I'm so curious about the unique cards when it comes to just how different they are, because you have those unique cards and you buy from like a common pool. So it'll be kind of interesting how that works out. Next up, and yes, I'm trying to move through this quick. There is a lot. Esopya is coming out, I think November 15th, I believe is the day, if I recall correctly. I love the art. I think it looks super cool. It's kind of a mix to me. Now, again, I think there are different artists at play here, because it seems to me like they probably put the artist's name, I think, on the side sometimes. But then I don't see it here. Either way, it reminds me of kind of a not super old Magic the Gathering, but not the newer digital stuff too. Kind of the later tier hand-drawn ones. That's what it reminds me of personally for a lot of it. And I see that in a very good way. It seems very authentic to me and screams a bit more fantasy, perhaps. Even though it looks like we got like high fantasy and we just got like normal, low fantasy. I mean, it looks interesting. They got a wide range here. We got pirates and we got elves and we got dwarves and we got orcs and we got undead mummies and like witches and hippos and rhinos and stuff. Looks cool. So definitely interested in learning more about this for sure. Next up, we have Myth and Goal. I might be able to get a play session with you guys on this. I don't know. Again, let me know in the comments below if you want me to... I have limited time. I can put it towards certain things. You guys let me know what you want to see. This is a community run channel. You guys hear this all the time. That's why I think my patrons right up front, because I do this for you guys. So let me know if you want to see me and my take on Myth and Goal. It is not something I've ever played before, so that might be interesting to you. Maybe not. Again, just let me know. Either way, it'll be on Kickstarter September 21st. And if nothing else, I'll try to get some more information for you guys. This is by Blacklist Games, so it's bound to be a success. They've been doing very good for themselves, so definitely kind of interested to see how that works out for them. Next up, we have Kabula. I showed this off a little bit before. I've teased this before with some unicorn lions and some vegetarian chick that's like, I think, killing children, or I don't. It's a crazy world. Okay, I will give you a quote, and then you can decide here how much of the satirical skirmish board game you can handle. I believe they told me that you can play a pregnant woman riding a uranium rod as a mount that can shoot radiation at people. It's a thing. Link down below to Kabula. What a teaser. Monsterpocalypse miniatures game. It's a thing. However, you guys might know this. What you might not know is that they are teaming up with Mythic Games to bring you this game. Now, what are the changes? First of all, it all is backwards compatible, so there is that. They are, however, 100% compatible. This is where the classic scrimmage aims to provide the same feeling as the original game while making it more accessible and pick and play. There'll be pre-assembled miniatures, for instance. Choose your agenda and lead your units. Okay. The new will include a 2-player core box, a multiplayer expansion that allows co-op and competitive play for up to 4 players, and multiple add-ons that offer more monster characters. If there's co-op, I don't know if there's going to be solo. If nothing else, it sounds like there might be 2-handed solo where you get to play 2 characters. And so I'm assuming co-op means solo pretty much, as long as you're bound and determined to do it, right? Units and buildings to expand players' collections. I'm a sucker for terrain. I love terrain, so we'll see how that works. The core box will contain 8 classic miniatures representing 4 different factions. Now, here's again a link down to this down below, so you can go ahead and get notified. Leo should have told me about this. That's all I'm saying. I found out about this, but I just happened to find out about this. Don't just happen me to find out about it. Let me know. I'll share it. Just, you lucked out this time, Leo. Ancient Blood, the Order of Vampire Hunters. This is kind of the what looks to be sequel to Darkgate Games Entertainment's Vampire Hunters original kind of game. You're kind of going off. And I don't know if this is just a sequel, if this is more of the same, if it's an expansion. I don't know yet. However, you can join 426 other people and sign up here. I don't know. You guys let me know if you know why a lot of companies choose to do this. Like, this is through BackerKit, which is fine, right? And they get like the email. Is it just because then they get your email? Whereas if they had a actual page on Kickstarter, they click notify me, and they don't get the email. Is it just that? I feel like people are more willing to click. At least I would be more willing to click and notify me than it would be to give you this email. Just saying. I typically don't like to just hand out my email when there is an alternative where I could just click notify me launch, and I can still get notified, but I didn't have to go send my email to, you know, even though it's I get a spec kit, but then you have it, and I don't know how you're gonna use it. It just, I don't know. I would prefer a sign up page like GameFound does, like Kickstarter already provides. I don't know why they always mess with this other stuff, but I mean, so Mythic Games is doing this here as well. So I don't know. Maybe it's helpful. I don't know. I'm sure it's helpful for them. They get your email. I wonder what the traction rate is and if that's actually worth it or not, I guess is my point. Either way, link down below that. ThreeTale, it was canceled. I didn't even realize this was like really launched. So it's canceled. They are coming back on the 16th, which is a Thursday, I believe, which is kind of a very quick kind of turnaround here. And that's actually the one thing that worries me, is they're like doing rule tweaks real fast based off feedback, which is great. They're listening to feedback, but I also worry about the whole like, oh, well, now we're changing it up real quick in reaction. I prefer, now there are people who really like to be involved in the development of a game, but I feel like the development portion of that is kind of like offering a toddler what they can wear. You don't just say, okay, go dress yourself, because they're going to come out looking hideous and you won't want to be seen in public with them. Instead, you say, would you like this or this? And they're already pre-crafted, and one's just red, one's just yellow, right? It's pretty much what you do. Do you want skirt or jeans? I don't actually care which. That's the kind of options we typically get. And that's because I feel very strongly in creator vision. I want Borderia to make ThreeTale. And if people want to play ThreeTale, they can get ThreeTale. But I'm very cautious about the changing on a whim to please the masses or whatever. Because I feel like then that vision might be lost a little bit. It looks like they got a lot of vision from the story. It looks very interesting there. I think the main issue is just, I'm not sure it's oh my gosh, obviously, yes, this is a great deal. This is what you get, which is cool. You get 110 wooden cubes and a prophecy book and 210 tokens and 5 miniatures and 5 final quest miniatures too, and and the gameplay looks kind of neat too. Like I dig how the it's kind of a random tile draw and stuff like that, and then you have to like place it on the map. So I guess you get to strategically choose where that goes, which is kind of cool. I like that it's 1 or 3 players, so it is solo friendly as well by the sounds of it. I just don't know if this is like a, oh my gosh, duh, of course I'd back it right now. And so when it comes to limiting more via daily goals and stuff like that, if the game doesn't get funded, it's better to not have any goals and put it all up front than it is to have the deal, the obvious, oh yes, of course I'd back over the many other options I have, than to get that towards the end, right? Like you need to get that initial hump before anything, especially as a first time creator. I think they have a cool idea. The minis are kind of, but they're fine. I think the hero minis are definitely the best ones. And I like this kind of 2 people that go side by side. That's kind of cool too. I dig that. But anyway, yeah, I just don't know if the deal necessarily is there. So we'll see where that goes. SCP Foundation also canceled. So that is also kind of interesting. But I think that was kind of a long time coming from what I saw, but they listened to feedback well, and it looks like they'll be coming back, and so I think that's cool too. Actually, I don't know, it says 2 created. Let me see if they already did. Maybe I just missed. No, they didn't. Yeah, that's right, they had that weird freedom thing too, so disregard that. So yeah, they will be coming back. I don't know when, but they will definitely be doing that. 3 to 5 months to review the game and kind of look at it and all that kind of stuff, but I suspect their second outing will be better. So hopefully Hopefully. I'm hoping for the best because I know there's a lot of fans of the IP that just want a cool board game to go with it. So I want them to have what they want. Next up, we have Oathsworn to the Deepwood. It has been moved to Q2 2022 for delivery. So just as an FYI, I think they wanted to get it to you by Christmas, but it's just not going to happen. That should not surprise you at this point. We are all used to delays in Kickstarter anyway, and then with COVID, this is even more obvious, especially with something this big. But let's actually go through this update, because I want to show a few of the cool stuff that they're showing off, because they have like a final production copy here. So here is the game. Yes, it does fit in a calyx, just. Here is the Mystery Chest 1 and Mystery Chest 2. You get both of them. That's right. This is how many boxes it takes for the game. A lot. 32-pound core pledge. They did a limit for scale. You were so close. You're supposed to use a banana for scale. I know fruit and fruit, but not all fruit is equal. Just look at kiwis. So there's that too. As you can see, though, they pack it tight in there. They put them sideways. They put them all sorts of different ways. Whatever they got to do to fit them in. I think that's really cool. It's kind of funny because you can't go like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's like here's 10, 6, 16, 9, 4, 3, 12. It's whatever fit. I dig it. I dig it. I think that's funny. Mystery envelopes. So I'm assuming cards and stuff like that. Maybe some rule changes. Who knows what. They got card organizers with separators. That's cool. I dig that. And I like that they come out too. Also very neat. They're also numbered. Also convenient. Here's one side of the game board with the overlays. Here's the other side of the game board with the overlays. Here's a whole bunch of cards. Here's some more cards. Here's some cards and dice. Here's some templates. Here's a whole bunch of books. Here's a book that's open. Here's one of the maps, one of 8 maps to explore. Here's a board review video that you could watch. Here's the worm that ate me. Here is more of the worm that ate me. I was right there. Okay, you know, like Drax, like, and Guardians got that. Anyway, here's this guy. I painted him. I'm going to show you that video soon. I'm going to edit it and you'll be able to see my painting of him. He's super cool, I feel anyway. Some of the Hips minis, so you can see all of them. I think that's neat as well. And the terrain box also. Okay, but again, Q2 of next year when that'll be arriving. Here is a voiceover recording of James Cosmo. Sorry, I was going to play it with you, but I don't know if I'm recording the audio. I'm going to go and play it just in case I am.
Green mud sucks at your boots. Every stride a challenge as you trudge through the rain. Your hands grip the thick iron cable of the wire road, pulled taut through rings, sunken into the trunks of hideous trees. For days now, it has been the only evidence of humanity's existence in the deep wood.
It's amazing. Like, seriously. Much better than me fumbling over words, right? Like, can you imagine me narrating that versus James Cosmo narrating that? It's not even close. He is a better narrator. He is great, and it's definitely one of the best uses of an app I have used personally, just because it adds so much immersion to him. You really just feel the muck and the grime as he's describing it. Very, very nice. Go ahead and give a listen to that 1 and 1 second narrative audio sample. You won't regret it. It'll be one of the best minutes you spend this today. Trust me, it's better than listening to me. He is great with it. He does a very good job with it. Here's some kind of the Hips Armory stuff, and they will be in Spiel. Go check them out. Highly recommended. Sadly, they didn't go to Gen Con, but probably next year. Maybe next year we'll be able to meet up and do something. That's the update on that. Kind of a big update. Wanted to show you guys that. Now for some teasers. This is for Earth Under Siege. Flashpoint, this will be coming out soon. I will be showing you guys this sooner. I liked this mini just because of the painting concept of the like mini Halo sword attached to either of his kind of fists, between the red armor and kind of the pinkish skin and that bright electric blue blade. That would look freaking sweet painted up. Really, really dig that. So that's super cool. And he also has face blades for melee and bleed and all the other stuff. You can read all that stuff. I was just looking at the mini. I thought that was super cool. And again, cool pose too. I dig it. I like that his mouth is open. The inside of the mouth is textured. Dig that as well. Now, Arydia, The Past We Dare Tread, did fantastic. Look at that. 1.3 million for 10,577 backers. That is very well done, especially for how expensive it was. It was definitely a success. It goes to show that I might complain, but that doesn't mean anything. Stuff can still work. And honestly, I complained on my way to the checkout many times. I'm a very loud consumer is what I call myself, or I'm like, I don't like this, and here's my card. Like, that's typically how I operate, because I'm just a consumer just like you guys, and I really like games, and these games look super cool. So I'm not against critiquing while also consuming, and so I just want that to be clear. I don't want to go around being like, you shouldn't buy this, you should buy this. Buy what makes you happy. You get this one life, this one single life. If buying Arydia makes you happy, buy Arydia. Doesn't matter, or Arydia, or whatever it is. I think it looks like a really cool game. I wish it was cheaper. Next up, we have Tanares. Now we're in the RPG section of things. Their 5e campaign is doing great. 1.5 million-ish with 16 days still to go. It's going to go up, obviously, at the end. Over 7,000 backers, doing very good for themselves. It makes sense to me. They got a huge group of very talented people working on this. As you can see, it just grows and grows and grows. They have some awesome stuff here, some really cool board game stuff. There's some convenient board game pledges, so be sure to look at that if you're getting Tanares and you want more. There's definitely like the villain pack, huge upgrade to Arena, because then all your bad guys have unique minis, which is also super nice. It's kind of like what Madara did and stuff like that. But on top of that, you get to play as them as like heroes, so even more hero options, super cool as well. There's a lot here to look at. So definitely, whether it is for the RPG or whether it's just for minis or like this big dragon thing, or whether it's for the board game stuff, be sure to check it out. Next up, we have Valda's Spire Secrets as a colossal expansion for D&D 5e. You'll rediscover why you love 5e. They say that several times, I think in the little video there as well. Over 300,000. They're definitely also doing good for themselves for sure. They have 10 revolutionary new base classes and over 150 plus subclasses and 130 plus brand new spells. They literally have more subclasses than they do new spells, which is kind of interesting. Some of the ones are kind of cool, like you can be essentially a blacksmith, essentially, that like makes different weapons and modifies weapons and stuff like that. But some of the stuff seems kind of, I don't know, kind of odd to me. Like one of the 10 revolutionary new classes is a necromancer. Now, I love necromancers. Again, I had mentioned Diablo 2 earlier. I don't know if I want to just do some spam skeleton or if I want to do a fast werewolf build. Like, I love necromancers. I don't find them revolutionary, though. So there's a little bit of marketing, I feel, in there, too. But they got some cool minis there. That being said, they're like $8 a pop for the minis, so not super cheap there. It looks like most people are just getting kind of the first few ones here. I think we have the 1,124 for the PDF Spire Secrets and 1,170 for the hardcover Spire of Secrets, and then it kind of drops off, it looks like, after that, which is fine. Yeah, so a craftsman, that's the person that built, which a very odd looking person. Like, their head looks too small. But anyway, as you can see, lots of different classes, lots of different spells. It works with 5e. It just kind of adds to it. It's like a supplement, essentially. Looks like, especially for like $25, $35. Yeah, I mean, for all that kind of wealth of information somebody put the time to put together, I think that's super cool. Again, add-ons seem a little expensive, but as a jumping in point, seems pretty good to me. Next up, we have Kenji's Quest. I've been covering this for a while now. It's at 19,000 out of 38,000, 99 backers, 17 days ago. There's still time for that. I don't know if they've cleared up whether they're doing the Silecast in-house or not. It's like $80,000 for a Silecast machine, so probably not in-house, I would assume, but maybe they're getting one anyway. I don't know. Maybe they're rich. There is that new starter pledge at $50. What they have said, and it looks like they're really looking into this, right? So they have 3 options here. Kickstarter campaigns are marathons, not sprints. Very true. I would say across campaigns too. I just did a video talking about the most funded board games on Kickstarter and I'll try to analyze why they succeeded. And almost universally, they started small. They started with in fact, some even had failed campaigns. Like, you humble beginnings, and you build that. As long as you have something quality and you start working on it, you just keep working on that, and eventually it either takes off or it doesn't. Some things just aren't meant to be, even if they're great, and that's fine too. Maybe it's just great for you or great for a niche thing. Nothing wrong with being niche. That's my whole channel, right? Anyway, Low backers are in early stages very common. The last week of campaign features a surge, so stick it out. You should stick it out either way. You have more visibility while on Kickstarter than off of Kickstarter. So use this time, use the next 17 days of nothing else as a way to get people to look at your campaign, for people like me to look at it and show other people. Definitely, I fully support don't even cancel early. Let it run its course. Get all the feedback you can. Kickstarter is a great source for that, for a failed campaign. Even if maybe you barely fund and you want to cancel, just cancel at the end. But otherwise, you have ways of sending updates to the people that are there. You can have more people come in. Very much useful to be on Kickstarter. 2, Kenji's Quest has the potential to be huge. Most things do. Regardless of what happens with your first campaign, you should definitely continue working on it or seriously consider a relaunch. Again, you can... Like I looked at the first Kingdom Death monster versus the 1.5, millions of dollars difference, right? They started humble and got bigger. Kenji's Quest looks amazing, but I'd like to see more Kenji's Quest in action before pledging. You should get a preview to game reviewers soon. Yes. Just because, again, more exposure. As long as they like it, of course. I mean, I'm not a fan of all publicity is good publicity. Trust me, you can have bad publicity. I've had bad publicity. It happens. I wish them best of luck on that. Greenskull Castle. This is now just miniatures, so they're talking about maybe making this into a board game as well. So we'll see. Definitely some super cool and unique minis here. Except I do not like his nose. But other than that, these got little cute guys here, which I dig. Definitely some very nice looking minis here, that you can get for, honestly, not too bad for, the kind of hand cast minis that they are. And these big guys are super cool, by the way. Like, really, really neat. I dig them. Look at that big old rat manticore thing. That thing's crazy. So definitely cool to see. I really like, again, the style of it. Looks like it's assembly. I'm sure they paint up great. And it's interesting to see if they'll do this in a board game or not as well. But anyway, link down below to them. I always like showing off these kind of artistic endeavors. Next up, we have the Adventures of Monster Plastic Miniatures Edition. What makes this unique is that they are pre-assembled, and they will offer a ink plus dry brush, so like a sun drop askew effect. Looks like they have small, looks like they have big, looks like there's going to be a ton of them. It'll be September 28th, 108 miniatures pre-assembled for $70. So less than $1 a mini. That is huge. I'm sure there's probably going to be repeats, but it honestly, that's insane. The company is very small, but they have delivered in the past, and people said that their miniatures were actually quite good. They actually have done resin miniatures in the past. So very interesting to see a pre-assembled thing on this. Pre-assembly adds to the shipping and storage, of course, but that means they're good out of the box too. So definitely interested in how this will actually go for them. Already 572 followers. I suspect more might follow if they are as good as this kind of stuff, and you can fill the 108 other miniatures like this for $70. Like, if you want to use them as proxies in war games, if you want, or tabletop games, if you want to use them as RPG stuff, if you just want to paint them, there's a lot of potential there for sure. Next up, A Tale of Two Cities. Speaking of miniatures, Ian Lovecraft does some really, really great 3D printing campaigns. So excited to see what he's doing here. Again, 1,673 followers on this, so definitely a big one. And yeah, already a kind of a very interesting tiny to big dragon. Reminds me of the Dragon Ball Z dragon from the Dragon Balls. Next up, Elegoo Jupiter. This thing, 3.3 million. Definitely huge. 3,624 backers. They're going quick. Speaking of going quick, be sure, again, if you're interested in this at all, click the link below. It's just getting more and more expensive. You can get it later and later as it goes on. So right now there is 265 left of the $740 option. Things that stand out on this, I'll go on and tell you. Obviously how big it is, of course. It assembles in like 30 minutes a minimum. They have the VAT refill, which is huge. I think that's super cool. I don't know if they're actually going to show everything here. They have the air purifier, which I think is neat. They have LED lighting inside of it, so you can see the print easier, which is also kind of nice. I kind of dig that. The build plate is now a more bolted on one. The Mars Pro 2 that I have, or the Mars 2 Pro, I apologize, has the like ball joint you gotta balance. I really like it just kind of set there, so it just goes up and down, and you don't have weird skew angles. Oh, there's a light. There's a built-in LED. Like, I dig that. That's super helpful. A lot of really nice touches. I really dig this. That's super cool. And of course, you can print, you know, big old giant things too, full masks, all sorts of stuff. Terrain looks super cool. If I had $740 to spend right now extra on it, I would totally get that and print all sorts of Warhammer stuff on it. You guys would, it would be insane. So definitely recommended though. It looks cool. And I really like the company. I think they build pretty good stuff, to be honest. Next up, speaking of over $1 million for some paint, because this Duncan Rhodes, our one and only painting savior here. 2 thin coat paints. I dig it. I think that's awesome. One of the things I like about this, one of the things I don't like about this. What I like about it, I love that you have a very straightforward shadow mid-tone highlight. It's almost paint by numbers. And you want orange or this rust orange, frantic orange flare. You do those 3, right? Like, I love that. Shadow, mid-tone, highlight. Shadow, mid-tone, highlight. I really dig that. I think that's a very smart way to set up the paints. There's been others that do that like do orange 1, orange 2, orange 3. I like the names of them. Berserker Red and Sanguine Scarlet and stuff like that. Looks like a great kind of combination of them. You're not getting like 15 pinks or anything weird like that. There's definitely not every color under the sun, that's for sure. There are a lot more colors than 54 colors. So, you know, it is still a limited range, but it is there. My opinion, typically, you want to do one of 2 things. If you're like me and you already have a ton of paints, you just buy what you need. You go to the specific one and you buy this paint from this company because you like how their metallics work or how their washes work, or that one paint doesn't have a combination that anybody else really finds and it's hard to mix, or what, or you use it a lot so you just want to or whatever it might be. I have multiple companies and multiple paints, and I just buy what I need at this point, right? It's like, oh, I need a brighter orange, so I'm gonna get a brighter orange. If you have the money and you want to just have a good selection, it's very nice to be able to, oh, I need a pink, this one, or I need a blue, this one, and just to be able to take it and not have to substitute in something else, because you're sitting there and you're painting, and sometimes even if you're pre-playing it, you're like, it's not quite what I like, and then you change it up, and but then you don't have ones and you got to custom paint it or whatever. Either way, very nice to do that, but it can get really pricey. So it's like $160, $192 for 60 bottles, which is the 54 plus the 6 there. So yeah, it's a lot, but they look very nice, and I'm sure they're great quality, or he wouldn't put his name on it. So there's that too. Next up, we have Lax Rax, the board game shelf insert for IKEA Kallax. This actually looks quite nice and quite usable, so I really like that. And honestly, fairly cheapish. It depends on how many board games you have, of course. It does look nice. It looks like it's pretty versatile. They've definitely thought it through on how everything works, on how you can set it up. So I really dig that. It definitely a great way to be able to store it. It's just a matter of if it's worth the money for you or not. If it is, definitely recommend it. It looks kind of neat. I'm not a huge fan of the wooden dowels, essentially. It's something that looks like the super greatest. And the problem is you need to buy the more expensive ones for any of the games that I typically cover because they're heavier. So that's also kind of the bummer as well. But either way, super cool. And if you do want to pimp out your shelves, this is definitely a way to do it. Moving on, Legendary Dice Bags Season 2. I don't know about the Season 1, but these dice bags look super cool. If you want to carry your bags, or whether you do RPGs, whether you do Warhammer, whether you do whatever, they look cool for sure. There's some awesome art here if you just want to kind of pimp out your dice. I know you guys love spending a ton of money on dice. Here you go. This is for you. You can spend your money on dice. I'm quickly scrolling through. You can see the art looks super cool. And these bags look great, in my opinion. I think they look fantastic. They also have some cool dice. Again, they look cool too. I wish they offered just 6-sided versions. This is definitely the D&D set that people get. As a Warhammer player, I need more D6s, but I would love all my D6s to be purple and navy blue, perhaps. I think that'd be super cool. Why not? So that'd be cool. I wish they would do that. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. If they do, I guess I'll let you know. Okay, moving on. Almost done here. Godmasters Adventures game was canceled. This was the 3rd time this company has recreated their company, recreated their campaign, argued with backers, and then canceled. If you see this in the future, do not back it. Don't support that kind of action. It's not going to be delivered. You're not going to get your game. It's just not going to happen. Don't bother. I don't know if they'll come back a fourth time or not. Kickstarter doesn't mind at all because there's potential for money, so why would they care? As long as it's not legal litigation, they're fine with it. They can make money off of a scam, and you get nothing out of it, and they did. So score for them and score for the scammer. But seriously, don't. And even if it's not a scam, I just don't think they can't fulfill. Like, it's very hard to make board games and deliver to thousands of people across the globe. They ain't gonna do it. So just keep your money, put it elsewhere. And lastly, Harakiri, Blades of Honor. There's a mini for you. I have some more exclusives. I have the whole map that I get to show you guys, okay? There's some more stuff I'm going to be showing. I'll show that in a future video. If you're interested in Harakiri, if you're interested in a unique, cool mini, I do not have a mini like this. I don't. It's like a cacodemon that another demon's riding on from Doom. Super cool. Again, I got nothing like this, and I got a ton of minis, so I love the uniqueness of it. If you are interested in hearing more about Harakiri, again, subscribe for more of that, or just more board game news, because that's it. That's all I have. My voice is going out. I hope you enjoyed that. I tried to make that as quick as possible, and I still spent about 50 minutes on it. My apologies. There was a lot to cover there, a lot to talk over. Hope you enjoyed it, though. Let me know what you're looking forward to, or if I missed anything. I know there are other games out there, but I don't know necessarily which ones you guys are interested in. I do these videos for you, so let me know, obviously, in the comments below, or one you'd like to hear more of, and I can do that investigation for you. And on the next news video, I'll let you know more about it. Thanks so much for watching, and as always, have a great rest of your day. Take care, guys.